Well, welcome to the Navigating Your Life show, and I'm your host, Nat Williams. Tonight we'll take a look at innovative trips for traveling with kids. We will highlight several ideas and strategies from a variety of sources, as well as to get some first-hand tips from some kids themselves. The United States Travel Association has some facts on traveling with kids, and they note that nearly 60% of family travelers use an incentive program offered on the road, such as kids' meals about 41% of the time, and hotel discounts about 30% of the time. They also note that 1 in 4 household trips in the United States includes a person under the age of 18. And the Bureau of Transportation Statistics notes that 98% of long-distance trips are to destinations within the United States. Recently, I had the opportunity to visit the Nazareth Middle School to talk with 4th, 5th, and 6th graders about their travel experiences, and here's what they had to share. So we're here today to talk about your traveling experiences. Why don't you name some of the places that you guys have visited so far?
Disney World.
Disney. And when were you last there?
November 7th to the 14th of 2009.
Wow. Did you have a good time?
Yes.
Very good, very good. And next we have Yasmina. Where have you visited?
Morocco.
Really? And how long were you there?
For about 3 weeks.
Really? Very good. Did you have family there, or is it just a vacation?
I went with my family.
Okay. You didn't have any family that lived there. You just went on vacation there.
I had a little bit of family that lived there.
Oh, really? Okay. Very good. All right. And Sarah, where have you been to visit?
Mexico.
Wow. And how long were you there?
For like a week and a half.
Wow. Very good. Very good. And Melina, where have you visited?
I've been to Palm Beach, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I was last there in I believe it was the fall of 2007.
Oh, really? Okay.
And we just went there for vacation.
Very good. All right. Very good. Akash, where have you been to visit?
I've been to India.
Oh, really? Wow. When were you last there?
Last summer
Really? For how long?
for 2 months.
Really? Very good. And I guess you have family there?
Yeah, my grandparents live
Really?
there.
That was wonderful. Terrific. And Krista, where have you been to visit?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. And how long were you there?
About a week.
Really? Very good. And last but not least, Spencer, where have you went to visit?
I've been to London and Paris.
Oh, really? Wow, very good. And how long were you in those two places?
A week.
Good.
1 day in Paris and 6 days in London.
Well, very good. And Akash, on your flight to India, did you go by yourself?
No.
No. Your family went with you?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long of a flight was that?
Almost 24 hours. My brother Anish, he was like really air sick a lot.
Oh,
so-
really? Wow. So it was a long flight. And how did you deal with the flight?
Well, I just played the monitors like Spencer said,
Mm-hmm.
and played my DS or my laptop.
For 24 hours.
Not straight. I fell asleep sometimes.
Wow. Very good. Okay. And Melina, on your trip to Florida, what did you do to keep yourself busy?
Well, I took a private plane, so you could kind of get
I'm
up
sorry. You took a what?
a private plane.
A private plane.
And
So
so
you're the rich kid in the school here, huh? No?
I don't know.
That's just the way you live, right? Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
You just got it like that. Wow, okay.
And
Okay.
well, because obviously it's private, so you can just get up and walk around and stuff. And sometimes
How big was this plane?
what was it called? It's a little bit smaller than a Gulfstream.
Wow, okay.
And
And you fly around this plane often?
yeah, I've never been on a public plane before, so that we go there, go on that a lot whenever we go on vacation.
Wow. So how many trips on the plane have you taken?
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah.
On a private plane? Oh, okay. All right, Melina.
And it took about
You need a
2
godfather?
hours.
No? Do you need a godfather?
No, I have one.
You have one, okay. All right, continue. So I'm sorry, no, finish what you were saying, Melina. So you've
And it
taken
took about 2 hours, and I would sometimes sleep, play on my phone or whatever.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. We're going to finish up in this round with asking if you'd like to, a place that you'd like to visit in the future. What would that place be?
Probably Italy, just
Okay.
because I've read a lot about it and it just
Wonderful.
seems like a nice place to visit.
Wonderful. And Krista, where would you like to visit?
I would like to visit the same as Spencer because my grandparents were from Italy, and
Really?
I really want to see everything in Italy.
Wonderful. Akash?
I would like to travel to Australia because I love animals, and I want to see the kangaroos and koalas and the animals you can't find anywhere else but there. So.
Wow, that's wonderful. And Melina?
I would love to travel to Costa Rica to see the rainforest because I hear they have like a zip line going all through the rainforest and like around the mountains and everything. And it would be really cool to see all like the birds and everything.
Wow, very good. Thanks, Melina. And Sarah, where would you like to visit?
Probably Africa to help out the people and see all the animals there.
Wonderful, good. And Yasmina?
I would like to visit Disney World because I've never been there, and also maybe someplace in England.
Very good. And last but not least, Austin?
Sometime, but I would want to go to California to see a Chargers game.
Okay, there you go. Sounds good. Is that a Chargers shirt you have on? Of course.
Yes.
Wowee, very good. Spencer, did you have a question you wanted to ask, or you wanted to say something?
Well, I would want to go on more family vacations.
Okay.
And I have a question for you.
Sure.
Have you ever been on major trips before?
Sure. My wife and I have 7 kids, and so we have a motorhome that we take and we travel around in that because everybody can fit in the motorhome. And we've gone to Florida, we've gone to Maine, so we haven't done as much. Last year we didn't do very much, but hopefully this year we'll get out and do some more. Very good. Any other questions? Yes, Akash, please.
Have you like ever been to another country or just the
But
United States?
That's it, and but I'm being so inspired by all the stuff that you guys have done that hopefully we'll get that on the radar screen.
Hope you do.
Yeah, I certainly do. Very good. Any other questions or comments before we wrap up? Yes, Melina.
Have you ever been around the area like of Michigan? Because my grandparents live there.
Oh, really?
And they live right next to Lake Michigamme.
Oh, okay.
And not every summer, but some summers we go up there and we like swim in the lake and everything.
Wow.
It's really fun.
That's wonderful. Well, you get around.
Yeah.
You certainly do. So we wanted to thank you all for being part of our shoot today. And so we have a gift bag for you. So here's a bag for you, Spencer. And is it Krista, right? And Akash, right?
Oh, thank you.
And Melina.
Thank you.
Okay. And is it Sarah? Yeah, very good. And Yasmina, also known as Bob, and Austin.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And so those bags were donated by a company called A Stitch in Time. So you want to thank them for giving you those gifts. Very good. All right. So thank you guys so much, okay?
Thank you, Stitch
Sure.
in Time.
Well, thank you to those students at the Nazareth Middle School for sharing their stories and opinions on traveling. We're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we'll talk to a AAA representative as well as to a mother.
Are you ready to experience personal success in all 8 domains of life? Then join Dr. Nat Williams for the Absolutes of Success Weekend Transformation Program at Tucson, Arizona, and achieve your greatest potential. Registration includes a 2-night stay with meals at the beautiful Westward Look Resort. Register today, only $6.99, or register with a friend and pay only $9.99 with shared room. Call 1-800-810-3683 or visit absolutesofsuccess.com.
Edie dreams of someday becoming a doctor, so it's no wonder that her favorite shows on television feature doctors in hospital emergency rooms. Edie describes herself as being a fast learner, smart, and nice when I want to be. She's intelligent and talkative. The 14-year-old expresses her feelings well and is always ready to give her opinion on things and knows what she likes. In school, she is an excellent student, and math and science are her favorite subjects. Edie yearns to have a permanent home and would thrive with a loving family that would help her reach her full potential and fulfill her dreams. For further adoption information, please access the National Adoption Center's website at adopt.org, and for specific information on Edie, please contact A. Kressman at adopt.org.
At Bridge to Creative Learning and Childcare Center, your child will learn and play the creative way in a safe and secure environment. We offer a fun and caring educational-based atmosphere and allow parents to monitor their child's activities. We are a state-licensed childcare center offering academic preparation, after-school programs, creative learning, summer activities, and much more. Call us at 610-351-7400. Prepare your child for a brighter future.
Well, welcome back to the Navigating Your Life show. I would like to welcome to the studio today, we have Tracy Noble from the AAA of the Mid-Atlantic region, located in Hamilton, New Jersey, as well as Jennifer Orvek, who is a mother of 2 boys who recently took some major vacations, including a cruise and a trip to Disney World. So ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So why don't we get started with you first, Tracy?
Sure.
What is the busiest time of year for traveling with children?
Well, we tend to see a lot of vacations, obviously, over the summer travel season when kids are not in school. But we've also come to find out that traveling right around the holiday has become very popular with families, especially in this area. We have some longer breaks leading up to the holiday season. So, you know, people are taking advantage of those times when kids are out of school and they're booking trips.
Wow. And Jennifer, you were noted to have some trips that you've taken recently with your sons. How old are your sons?
They are currently, Joey is 9
Wow.
and Noah is 7.
Wow. So you took some trips with them. Could you share with us where some of those locations were?
We took a trip down to Florida to Disney,
Wow.
all-inclusive Disney trip. And this past January, we also went to on a Disney cruise, Eastern Caribbean cruise.
Wow. And how did you find that experience?
We loved it.
Really?
It was great.
Wow. And would you say that because it was targeted to children that made it all that better of an experience, or it was just having a chance to get away that was really more beneficial?
It was just nice because it was targeted more to the whole family. Disney, there's something for
everybody.
everyone.
Wow.
My parents went along with us on both trips. And they just had a great time. Everybody had a great time. There's tons of things for the kids to do.
And Tracy, when people are traveling with children, what would you say are some things that they want to be mindful of?
Well, they obviously want to be mindful of their children and plan a destination that is child-friendly. Disney, obviously, it is geared to the children, but also has some great other activities for adults. And you had the added benefit of having your parents along, so you know, maybe some extra hands and extra help for you know, extra supervision, because when you are on a vacation, you want to obviously relax and have fun, but your child's safety is always something that is in the front of your mind. So you need to be mindful of that, and an extra set of eyes and hands can't help, you know, would always help.
Sure.
Exactly.
And Jennifer, you were on the cruise. What was that experience like as a family taking a cruise all together?
It was our first cruise. We absolutely loved it. There were so many things to do. I would actually recommend the cruise over Disney.
Oh, really?
There was just a lot of things for the children to do. You don't have the lines. Granted, you don't have the rides either, but there's interactive kids clubs that they can go to. There's family game shows. Your meals are all included. There's just things to do all the time on the cruise ship. We weren't bored.
And they basically keep you busy from early morning to late afternoon. I mean, late evening.
Right.
There's activities for the kids all day long, and even if they're teenagers, they have activities that are appropriate for them as well.
Absolutely.
Well, and
absolutely.
that food on that ship is enough to.
There's a lot.
For sure. I think we went on a cruise, and I think I came back about 7 or 10 pounds heavier from that cruise. So if you want to get your weight up, that's the way to go. Wow. Anything else that you can think of, Jennifer, that you want to keep in mind as you're traveling and you're a family? You know, we live in a world now where there's a lot of emergencies and other issues, and you know, you talk about a cruise ship. There's been some medical challenges from time to time on ships. So how do you prepare for those kinds of things, Jennifer, in traveling?
Well, you want to make sure that you you know, have your information ahead of time. If you need medication, if your children need medication, make sure that you prepare, make sure that you have everything with you. Also, leave your information behind.
I have to stop you there, because when you start telling people who have to pack that they should bring everything with you, I can just imagine the sizes of these suitcases. And they'll say, because they saw it on the show and Tracy said to do it, that's what they're doing. But I'm sorry, I cut you off, so please continue.
No, it's just, you know, you obviously want to take your necessities, but you want to make sure that you do have your necessary items. And that may even be, when you're traveling with children, their special blanket, their teddy bear, and make sure that they are comfortable with that. You also want to prepare them, you know, if you are traveling by plane, that they're going to have to relinquish those items when they're going through security. So those security blanket items that they tend to carry and hold dear to them, you need to let them know and be prepared that they are going to have to give those items up to the security guards. But you want to make sure that they're in on the process. Let them pack their own bag. You know, let them feel like they are part of the planning and make it a full family experience.
Wow. And Jennifer, did you do any of that role playing with them to really think about how the whole experience would be so that they were prepared for all they would go through?
We did. When we went down to Disney, we pulled up, the different parks and showed them the different things we're going to be doing. We showed them the hotel. We explained to them, because it was their first time on the airplane, what to expect, going through security and such. I also think it's very important in the airports to take plenty along for them to be occupied with because of the delays in the flights and everything. And on the cruise ship, we did absolutely go through, what's on the cruise ship and, the anxiety that they might experience, being out on the ocean in this big ship. But once they're on and out and involved in the activities, they really forget all about that.
Sure. So we're getting ready to wrap up. And Tracy, is there anything you want to share with our viewers that, in a closing thought, about some stuff that they want to make sure that they consider that we haven't mentioned already?
Well, always just, safety first, your health, your safety, the safety of your children. You might want to, depending on where you're going, if you're renting a car, you want to look at the location's child passenger safety laws to make sure that if you need to bring your own car seat, you're prepared for that. If you're renting a car, is there a car seat rental available at the rental destination? Just some precautions that you might not think about when you're planning a vacation that do need to be taken into consideration.
You bring up a very good point. I can only imagine if Jennifer had some kids and she was down in Florida and she was pulled over because the kid wasn't in a car seat and got a ticket, that would really make the vacation a little bit on the challenging side.
It would.
Doing some planning would make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
Jennifer, anything you'd like to share with our viewers before we wrap up?
I just would like to reiterate what she said, that it's very important that you have their medicines and everything so they don't get lost in your luggage and that you have them on hand at all times, and just have your kids prepared so you can have a great time.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank both of you for coming in and spending some time with us today. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Jennifer. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. And when we come back, we'll have a representative from VIP Travel, so stay with us.
Ready for some fun? Funworks assists individuals with and without disabilities to participate in community activities. These activities are provided in small settings for 1 to 8 individuals with at least 1 to 2 direct support professionals. We visit places like Dollywood, Willow Valley Inn, Phillies Games, Iron Pigs Games, the Lehigh Valley Zoo, and more. Let us know your dream trip. Our staff is dedicated to ensuring your dream activities come true. For more information, call 888-966-9466 or visit funworksinc.org.
In these challenging times, your organization needs employees that maximize results. HumanWorks Training and Educational Services provides results-focused seminars for your staff. Topics include management and motivating employees, stress management, team building and leadership skills, and cultural diversity. Register today, just $89.99 or $75 for chamber members. Call 484-893-5057 or visit hwtes.com.
Well, welcome back to the Navigating Your Life show. We have joining us in studio Jennifer Donchez from VIP Vacations in Whitehall, Pennsylvania. And we want to thank you, Jennifer, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So your agency, your company does what?
Well, we're primarily a leisure agency, and we do a lot of sandals resorts and beaches resorts for families.
Wow, okay. So we were talking off camera, but I want to bring it back while we're on camera now about some sensitivities that people need to have and awareness that they need to have about traveling with kids. So I'll let you take that lead in.
We get a lot of questions about passports because we do a lot of vacations, and parents who are traveling with their kids outside of the country, outside of the U.S., that means going to Mexico, the Caribbean, Europe, they need to have passports for their children. Even babies that they're carrying on their lap need a passport.
And one of the other things that you talked about is when they're situating themselves on the plane, if they're carrying a baby as well, they need to have some sensitivities there. Would you share what that is?
Right. Well, if you're leaving the country and you have a baby on your lap, it's actually not free. You have to pay a departure tax for that child. So you always have to list the baby. And even if you're going to Disney or you're visiting family and you're carrying a lap baby where it is free in the U.S., you need to list that baby with you. You need to mark down their date of birth. And you have to be mindful because there are certain rows on planes that can accommodate a lap baby. You'd say, well, Why is that? There's 3 seats on one side and 3 on another, and you're going to be sitting on my lap. But it's about the oxygen masks. There's only a few oxygen masks on every row that have 2, one for you and one for your baby.
Wow. And do you advise people to to put a child in their own seat versus on the lap? How do you help them figure out what's the best way to travel that?
Well,
when they have a child?
If you're looking to fly for convenience and you're not really mindful of the cost, we always suggest, even if it's a baby, to buy a seat. And if you have a child that's 3, to at least bring your booster seat. It is always better for the child to be with what's familiar. So if they're driving in a car or if you're driving on a bus, you're going to bring a car seat or a booster seat. And we tell our clients to do the same if you're traveling on a plane. It just makes it easier. Then the child's not jumping up and down or banging on the seat in front of them. So we always say that's the first thing. If you're willing to pay for the seat, bring a car seat with you.
Well, make it as comfortable as you can.
Exactly.
And just as a side note, when you have that kid that's making all those noises that you're not supposed to experience, what are you supposed to say? Are you supposed to volunteer and say, hey, can I help out? Or are you supposed to just ignore it? What do you suggest to people so that they can have an enjoyable vacation when there are some disruptions that are going on? And of course, it's not your kids that are doing the noise making.
Well, we usually tell our clients who have the children, bring some toys with them, bring coloring books, Game Boys, bring snacks. Food always seems to distract them. But I have a funny story. I had clients who went and got gift cards to Starbucks, like $5 gift cards. And they sat down on the plane, and before it even took off, in the row in front of them, they handed them out and said, this is just in advance. Because I don't think that it's going to be as easy or as smooth as you think it's going to be. So don't hate us. And if a child is in a booster seat with a video or a Game Boy or something, that usually can occupy about 2 hours. So before you set your vacation, look to see about the attention span of your child and what would be easy for you. And if it requires you doing like a connecting flight, that might be easy too.
That's a good point.
For us as parents, we always like to just get on the plane and go. But if it's a long flight, you might actually want to stop so that your kids can stretch and get something to eat and go to the bathroom, and that could make it easier as well.
Now, I know a lot of your business is working with people that are flying, but I guess when you brought up the point about breaking it up, there may be some destinations that you may want to go to that you may want to drive as opposed to flying when you have youngsters. Would you agree or disagree on?
Yes, driving can be fun to go to the shore or up to the mountains, and you want to do the exact same things you do if you were flying for a certain amount of hours. Bring movies, bring snacks, water, and just so that it doesn't become that annoying trip where the kids keep saying, are we there yet?
Wow. And safety. One of the things people talk about is what is the safest way to travel? And based on your research and your information, how would you answer that question?
Statistically, flying is still the safest way to travel. It is. So people who have fear of flying, there are a lot of little classes you can take. Even the Lehigh Valley Airport offers a class for people who have a fear of flying.
Really?
And you can also talk to your doctor because they can give you some medication that might relax you a little bit before the plane.
And what have you seen that's been successful in working with children who may be a little fearful about flying?
We actually suggest put them on the window seat because they can see what's going on around them. And most kids, they don't know what to expect, and they think this is fun and it's a ride. So if you make it fun, and if you're not nervous, because kids can sense if you're nervous or not. If you're not nervous, it's usually, you hear the kids say "we" as you take off, and they applaud when you land, and that kind of breaks the ice a little bit and makes everybody relax around you.
And any other tips you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, if you are going to fly with and leave your child, let's say, with an unaccompanied minor status, you have to really check with the airlines and their policies. There is a fee if you're going to send off your child to, go to grandma's or something, and you really should follow every airline's guidelines because they're all different as the age and the cost. And my tip is try to get a direct flight if you can to send your child somewhere without you.
Thank you again, Jennifer. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Enrich your life at Sacred Heart Villa, situated atop Mount St. Michael on 40-plus scenic acres. Our caring staff includes missionary sisters and on-site licensed nurses 24/7. We offer medical reminders as well as dispensing medication and transportation to medical appointments. With excellent food, fun events, a spacious hall, safe rooms, and much more, your life will be enriched. Call 610-929-5751 or go to sacredheartvilla-readingpa.org.
As we all know, the job market is difficult to penetrate. Please look at the short resume on the screen and contact the email address below if this person's skills is of interest to you or your company. Let's help him get back into the saddle. I hope today's show has been enlightening, encouraging, and empowering for you. Family vacations can be a great way to break away from the daily routine and enjoy some quality time with those you love. But as we know, if it's not planned correctly, getting there and back can be a real challenge. We hope today's show has helped you to better prepare for your next trip where you're traveling with children, no matter what the means of transportation you take to get there. As we wrap up today's show, we want to let you know we're looking forward to having you join us next week when we'll be discussing coping tips for caregivers. We thank you so much for spending time with us this evening, and I wish you the very best.
A list of resources related to today's show is available on our website, which is navigatingyourlifeshow.com. On this site, there is a connection to our Facebook and Twitter pages and to our blog. While you are there, you can also email your comments on today's show or share ideas for future shows.
Enlightenment, navigate your life. Enlightenment, navigate your life. Empowerment, navigate your life. Encouragement,